What's your breaking point? Everybody out here today got to a point at some point in practice, most of them sometime during 7-on-7, or one of the team periods, where you got to where you lost your focus, you couldn't stay poised enough to do what you had to do, because you got to thinking about the wrong stuff. External factors, how hot it was, this happened, I got stepped on my toe, my hamstring hurts, I'm getting a cramp. Whatever it was, you couldn't finish. This drill that we did here, condition by position, half the guys didn't do the drill right because you couldn't finish, because you mentally gave in. I'm hurt, I'm tired, you convince yourself I can't run anymore. All right, so this is the very thing that everybody needs to understand about what is your breaking point? How much can you push yourself? And look, I'm glad it happened. I expected it to happen. All right, but this was a good start. All right, and I think it was a good practice for the first practice. But everybody's got to challenge themselves to push it to the next level. All right, so that we increase our mental toughness and our discipline to sustain. And everybody here knows, when did I fall out today? Maybe not fall out of practice physically, but when did you fall out of practice mentally? And that's the sign of your toughness.
Okay, and then how about the losing team, coaches? Well, I got some questions for you. All right, you got the player of the year in college football on your team. You got the guy who won the Blitnikoff playing receiver. All right, we got more guys coming back on offense than probably any team in the country. I mean, what went wrong? I mean, this is kind of shit you ask me all the time. What went wrong?
Third down, execution, drop passes. We did what we could.
So, is that the player's fault, or are you responsible for that as a coach, or what? I mean, you got to take responsibility for what your team did. He's not willing to do that. He's just not willing to do it. You know, I'm only saying this because you all have a tendency to make somebody a star. All right? And when you do that, you create a problem for us as coaches. Do you understand that? All right, so can we just make sure we're just like, it is what it is? That makes sense to anybody besides me? Who are you talking about?
Tua.
Tua's great. Why wouldn't he have the strength and the velocity? Is there something wrong with him? No, there's nothing wrong with him. I wish you all would quit trying to make something out of nothing, because there's nothing to make out of it. So why don't you go talk to Dr. Kane and all those people, because you obviously don't believe me. I thought he threw the ball with great velocity just like he did before, and I don't see any difference. Do you? Well, you have an opinion. I mean, you're allowed to have an opinion. We'll make you coach next year, and I'll ask you questions at the press conference. I mean, I want to know what they told the Crimson team at halftime. I mean, obviously, it didn't do a damn bit of good. I mean, that's what you always ask me at a press conference, every press conference. What would you tell them at halftime? Well, I want to know, what did they tell them at halftime?
Coach, we're going to wrap up over here with Alex.
And do a damn bit of good.
Some pressure on Knight, and here they come. Knight over the middle. Had to thread the needle, looking for a flag as Shepard, and he got one. Pass interference coming up.
It's a grab.
Pass interference, defense number 20. Spot foul, automatic touchdown.
I think Jarek Williams grabbed him when Shepard broke inside. Watch him reach out and grab him. Right there. That's a penalty. He did get the other hand in front, but with his left hand, he grabbed him as Shepard beat him to the inside.
So a huge first down by penalty. And Alabama takes its final timeout.
Their third and final will be 30 seconds.
Well, that's the last time they can stop it. And an unhappy Nick Saban on the sideline, letting the officials have it.
Defensive line going against them, and then, you know, the secondary players for Florida's offense, like Kadarius Toney. Yeah, like, how does Alabama want to handle him, especially when they go Kyle Pitts on one side of the field and Toney like in the slot on the other? Look at Coach Saban still fired up about his defense on that third down, but like how they handle some of those players. This is why they're Alabama, and he's Nick Saban, though.
From the 2010 game against South Carolina, and do you ever use that game as an example to other teams of, staying on the process and that season in general, actually?
What year are we in now? 2019. So most of our guys were in grade school, when that happened. But what I remember from it, is we got the lining kicked out of our britches. I don't know if you know what that means, but that means you get your butt kicked so bad you got no seam in the back of your pants. So, yeah, I remember that. But I'll ask the players today if when they were in 6th grade, do they remember it?
There's Allison Williams.
Coach Saban, you said that
I can't hear you.
You said that they were going to, can you hear me now? No.
What?
You said that they would try and take away Devontae Smith. Why have they not been able to do that?
What?
Urgency. 5:08 in the 3rd quarter, and Stavi's going to look downfield, loops the ball for Watt, but he was well covered, too well covered, as a flag comes in. It was Sean Dean Hamilton, the linebacker, in coverage, and Bama's claiming it was a push-off. Offensive interference. Saban out on the field, plead his case.
Pass interference. Defense number 20, 15-yard penalty.
Nick didn't win that argument. Look.
He's upset. He feels that Watt was actually pushing back.
They will not stop coaching on that Alabama sideline. That defense gave up the big run to the wide receiver. Pass interference penalty setting up Stavi's 2nd touchdown pass. So, Kirk, we have to avoid the temptation to conclude too much from an opening day. But as you said, there's so few chances sometimes for top programs in the.
I mean, New England Patriots threw the ball over 60-some% of the time, which is more than we threw it. So where does that assumption come from? Or do you do what everybody else in the media does, just create some throw it on the wall and see what sticks, which is what I see happening everywhere. And the people who scream the loudest, they kind of get the attention, and we pass some rule that everybody has to live with, or some law, and the consequences mess up a lot of other things. Do it all the time. We're doing it right now. The NCAA is doing it. We're going to change the way we can have summer camps. We can't have high school coaches working summer camps. I mean, it's the most ridiculous things that I've ever seen. But it is what it is, and whatever they do, they do. So we say we don't want third parties dealing with players. So we're not going to let the high school coach bring a guy to camp, but some third-party guy can bring him to camp now. Makes no sense at all. I mean, but all the people who have common sense, they won't say anything about it. But the people who scream the loudest will get the thing changed, and it'll mess everything up. It's the way it goes. The way it goes in the world, politics, just the way it goes. Same thing with you. We're going to be more conservative now in ball control offense. Where'd that come from? I never said that. Nobody in this building ever said that. So where'd you come up with that? Just, had a dream about it, or what? And I even got the best one I got was I got a text from some players at the Naval Academy who had the largest battleship in the Navy, and says, "Coach, we got your back. We'll come pick you up anytime you need us." I like playing golf. I love the lake. I swim in the lake and take a bath in the lake every day, and everybody kills me over that. People don't take bath in the lake. I got to have Ivory soap so it floats. So.
In the toss, which way you think you might go on that deal, Coach?
Well, to be honest with you, I hope we elect to kick ass is what I hope we do, but.
Is called a lot. See how he kind of gave up on the play, turned back so quickly, and that time the officials did not buy it, and Nick was on the officials.
Lead. Blocked again! Cody again!
Oh my!
Alabama wins!
Lionel with that blocked field goal at the end, and they rode it by the fingernail into the national championship. Cody does it twice.
Here's Saban
first down, too. Delay a game.
Prior to the snap, delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty remains, 4th down.
They had it, too.
Sure did.
Way back to the back end is the guy that's responsible for calling that play, and he whistles it just as it's out. Let's see if he comes in. Actually, we focus in, but it was the back judge, and you know Nick Saban was not happy about that. Who would be?
Now, I'm going to make a statement about something because I thought you would surely ask. So this will be the last time this ever gets talked about. So no one needs to ever ask me, because I'm going to tell you to pull it up on your little computer or Facebook or whatever, Twitter or whatever you do. All right? I just want everybody to know that I'm opposed to an unauthorized biography for anybody. All right? And I think that's, some person that you don't even know trying to profit by your story and or someone else's story. And one of these days, when I'm finished coaching in Alabama, I'll write an authorized book. Because, there's really only one expert on my life. And guess who that is? Me. And there won't be any misinformation. There won't be any false statements. There won't be any hearsay. There won't be any expert analysis from somebody else. It'll be the real deal. But I'm not really ready for that to happen. And, it's a little amazing to me that the timing of all this happening right when we're starting camp, I just want everybody out there and all of our fans to know it's not going to be a distraction to us, and it's never going to get discussed again. But since I'm not finished yet at Alabama, we're not writing any books yet. But when we decide to write an authorized book, it will have the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. That's okay. Thank you.
Jalen and Tua, but Coach wasn't having it today.
What if? What if this happens? What if that happens? And you're asking me a what if both quarterbacks play? And I don't have an answer for that. I don't have any, what do you call those things? What do we call that when we, what if? Hypotheticals. Yeah, hypotheticals. I mean, that's a hard word for me.
He's pretty much of a weapon here. He is the star of the game so far in my mind.
Kenyon Drake, fumble.
Another one.
Picked up and returned. It's Dante Fowler. Then the ball is loose again. Let's have a rugby scrum.
And Fowler ended up with it.
Holy cow.
This play was discombobulated from the start. The quarterback runs into the running back. It's going to be the quarterback keep. He runs into him, never handles the ball. Pressure inside on the play. And then it goes from one guy to the next guy to the next guy.
And finally Fowler
ended up with it.
That's 3 lost fumbles for.
Wow. Wow, you just do not see this in an Alabama team. Yeah. A.J. McCarron right now is saying, I remember that speech.
Now, I was in here on Monday, and I was on a conference call today, and I have yet to be asked a question about the game. Not one. Not one question about the game. So if you don't have a question about the game, do me a favor and don't ask. Because I don't want to get on national TV and embarrass myself anymore this week. Is that fair enough?
You don't even try to throw at him, Notre Dame and everybody else.
He's in perfect position again, and if he comes down in bounds, it's an interception. It's a bigger receiver. It doesn't matter.
After
Patrick
the play was
Surtain
over,
has the strength.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Head coach Alabama. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down. That
Patrick
is that head coach's
Surtain's
first unsportsmanlike conduct foul.
Dad can't believe it. It's not out of character for Nick to be a little agitated, even with a big lead. Constantly coaching and teaching.
What was the explanation given to you for the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty at the end?
Oh, I was just out on the field about 2 steps because I was yelling at one of our linebackers who didn't drop in the right direction, which I've done that pretty much all of my career. And it wasn't during a live ball. It wasn't. So, and I guess technically you're not supposed to do that. But, I mean, look, I'm not criticizing anybody. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I've been a head coach for 20-some years, and I've never been called for that. So what good does it do? What does it mean? It means nothing. I don't even know why we have it. The only time it means anything, the only reason we have it is for folks like you to talk about and write about. That's all it is.
You've become infamous for your kind of visible annoyance at certain questions at press conferences.
Oh, yeah. I was nervous for this interview.
What is the thing that bothers you most? What sets you off at those press conferences?
Really, I think sometimes I'm just trying to get a message across through the media to our team. And when somebody asks me a question that gives me an opportunity to do that, I do it. And it's really to benefit our team. It's not really to make anybody look bad, but I want our team to get the message. And so that's kind of, I think you guys use me sometimes to create a little news. All right, so I'm just going to use you to create a little news with our team.
We have to do things right as opposed to just thinking that's always going to we're going to get a good bounce at the end somehow, and doesn't always work out that way.
It's amazing to me how people respond better when things go poorly than when things go well. I mean, I guess it's human nature. It's no different than the salesman at the car dealership. When he sells his 10 cars for the month, he's not motivated to set the record. He wants to go home and eat Tostitos and drink beer, and watch TV. I mean, because he made his quota for the month. Survival is more human nature than it is to be special good. And to win a championship, you got to have a whole bunch of people that want to be special good. So,
yeah, you've always said that. I've learned that from you. It's hard to keep trying to achieve to the top level all the time. It's easy when you're down to bounce back, but it's hard to achieve it all the time.
Hardest worker on the team.
Jones, play action, getting some pressure, and they just lob this one away.
That might be intentional grounding right there. He was in the pocket. I don't know if it crossed the line of scrimmage, and I think he was saving a sack. This one could cost him.
He might have a delayed flag. We'll wait and see. Herring and Ojolari were putting the pressure on him. There's nobody home out there where he threw it.
I think that was intentional grounding.
Intentional grounding, offense number 10. The penalty will place the ball at the spot of the foul and includes the loss of down. It's now second down.
Nobody knows intentional grounding better than me. I was
position to work with. Ball at the plus 49. But the ball is fumbled his very first snap, and SC recovers. Cameron Smith recovers it, and there was confusion.
They all think they have this illusion of choice, like I can do whatever I want to do. And we kind of have a younger generation now that doesn't always get told no. They don't always get told this is exactly how you need to do it. So they have this illusion that they have all these choices. But the fact of the matter is if you want to be good, you really don't have a lot of choices because it takes what it takes. You have to do what you have to do to be successful.
Coach, what did you see from Keller Christ on those 2 drives that you could affect defensively in the second half?
Well, it's really, he's a good player. We got a lot of respect for him, but, we messed up. So we messed up on the flea flicker. We busted the coverage in the back end. They got us in man-to-man, and Mac had the back, and the guy ran a sluggo on him. So their player beat our player, and he made a good throw.
To have 42 points on the board and Tua playing the way he has, do we see him go in the second half?
Yeah, why not? Probably see Jalen too. But, we like to play 60-minute games. We don't look at the scoreboard, so I don't answer scoreboard questions.
All right, I won't ask him. Thanks, Coach.
Fine, thanks.
Thanks, Coach.
Smart's trying to make a play on the ball. He's over here. Nick's right there. Oh, he makes the catch, gets his knee down for the interception.
That's a linebacker.
Yeah.
Two-handed grab, does get the knee and the elbow down as Cook is picked up for the second time.
You see his eyes watching that ball. We're going the other way. And that secures the shutout.
Almost a smile from Nick there. A lot of smiles from Lee and his teammates.
First time I've been out in a boat, and the fuel pump went out. All right, so we did not run out of gas. Now, there has been some benefit from everybody thinking we ran out of gas. I've got at least 100 gas cans. I got plenty of gas plants. Anybody needs one, let me know, because I can't use them. You know, we've always had a rule where, you know, players don't talk to the opposing team. I tell our players, you know, if you want to talk shit to the other team, join the goddamn debate team. I mean, excuse my language, but I'm really sorry for, you know, using the Lord's name in vain, but I just really get hot about what I see in sports that we promote.
This is the best. This is the absolute best because I absolutely love this team. I love all the adversity that they had to overcome and resiliency that they went through, all right, to be able to do this, and I appreciate it.
Constant excellence. Bama bludgeons the Buckeyes, and Saban steps past Paul Bryant with his 7th national championship.
You know, thank everybody here in the media for doing such a great job of covering our team. Our guys get a lot of positive self-gratification from what you do, and even though you think I don't like you, I really do appreciate what you do, and I do like you, so thank you.
This team was a lot of fun to watch. I mean, that offense, I mean, it's not like your defense is shabby, but that offense, you almost scored every time you had the damn ball. Was that the best offense that you've had since you've been at Alabama?
Well, I tell you, this was a fun team to coach. I don't know if it was disruptions of this season that brought everybody closer together and actually made us a better team, had better team togetherness, everybody buying into doing the things that they needed to do. We had really good leadership, you know, on this team, but the offense was very, very dynamic. I actually thought that when we lost Waddle about halfway through the season, it would be the equivalent of losing an Allen Iverson, a guy that could score a lot of points because, you know, he affected the defense in so many ways. But it was interesting to see how other guys just stepped up and picked it up, and Smitty had a great year. The quarterback had a great year. We had good balance on offense, and they were really fun to watch.